The way I ended up in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, knowing Skip Savage and my connection with Surf Shop East, actually started in 1967. I had met this young guy named Rat, from Ocean Beach, California. One of my best friends, a guy named Herb Turner, had hitchhiked out to California early that summer and was gone for about a month, and then he showed back up in Pensacola with these California guys, and one of them was named Rat, and he, for some reason, took a liking to me. I was 17 years old, and invited me to come back to Ocean Beach, San Diego, or come out there anytime I wanted to. He would put me up. He lived right on the beach, yada, 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 and of course, I wanted to go to California. And so I took a surfboard that I owned and sold it to get the money for the ticket. And then the guy who was sponsoring me funded me another surfboard to take out there, something he said would be better for California type waves. Flew to California, spent 2 months there, and surfed Ocean Beach every day. And while I was there, I met these guys who I thought were from New Jersey, and became really good friends with them. And a guy named Mike Lynn became like one of my best friends. And we planned to be together the next summer, and he was going to come to Florida and spend the summer with me. And sometime that winter, his dad passed away, and he wrote me and said, "I can't come, Yancy. I have to stay up here with my mom, but you can come up here and spend the summer with me." And New Jersey had a reputation of having good waves, so I thought I was going to New Jersey. So once again, I sold a surfboard and bought a train ticket to Wilmington, Delaware. And the reason I could sell my surfboard, because he said, "I told this guy who owns a surf shop up here how good a surfer you are, and he said he would front you a surfboard." So I didn't need a surfboard. I was going to get one while it was up there. So my best friend and I, the Ken Roos guy who got me into surfing, bought tickets, took a train to Wilmington, Delaware, I thought we were going to New Jersey, but we turned around and went south to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and was introduced to Skip Savage, and sure enough, he funded me a Greg Knoll, I think it was called the Bug surfboard. Surfboards had just gone short, and that started my lifelong friendship with Skip Savage. The boards going from long and short was probably my favorite time of surfing. That happened in '68. It was almost like an Alice in Wonderland type experience, because there was no media, and we only had surfer magazines that came out every 2 months. So we really didn't know it happened, and especially in Northwest Florida, where we're kind of out of the loop. And we came to Cocoa Beach every Easter for the big Easter surf contest. That was like a tradition. In 1968, we all got new surfboards from our sponsor at that time. And I had a brand new 9.6, and we came down here to Cocoa Beach and pulled up to Ron John Surf Shop, and a really good surfer I knew at that time named Benji McRoberts came running up to me and said, "The waves are good, Yancy," and yada, 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 and showed me his board, and it was a 7-foot. And I was just mind-boggling. I go, "What are y'all riding?" And he said, "Australia, and boards have gone short." And we went to the beach and watched all these guys surfing on 7, 8-foot surfboards, and our 9.6s just seemed like they were dinosaurs. Before that, the big thing was turn, run to the nose, hang 5, 10, go back and do a drop knee cutback. Well, by the time we came that Easter, that was gone. You stood on the tail and you climbed and dropped and you tried to get in the tube. And it was just mind-boggling. It was like going into Alice in Wonderland. Like I said, to come down here to Cocoa Beach and see people on a totally different trip, it was so exciting. And I got an 8.6 from a young kid that was on the team that was real lightweight, and then rode his board the rest of the contest, and got second, I think, in that contest in the novice division. And then went back to Pensacola and went down to 7-foot, 6-foot boards before 1968 was over. When I started surfing, the two best surfers in town was a guy named John Russell, and a guy named Mike Chestnut. They were my heroes. And then there was a guy in the Navy there. Pensacola is a big Navy town. That's where they train all their pilots and everything. So a lot of guys from Hawaii and California came through there. And a guy named Nelson Gu just incredible surfer. He rode an 11-foot board back in those days, and just I remember back in those days the way you judged a good surfer is how long they went before they got their hair wet. And those guys would never get their hair wet. Mike Chestnut, John Russell, and Nelson Gu, and they were the best surfers. And then the crew that I grew up with, that Skip eventually came to know and love, was Ken Roos, who was my best friend and got me into surfing, and then Herb and Beezer Turner, and Robin Martin, and my brother John Spencer, and a guy named Buddy Capel, who was the entertainment of our group, because we tortured him. His Scarbelly is what we call it. Captain Scarbelly is also one of his names. I think most of my life I've viewed surfing as an art form more than a sport. I competed only because I came from a family that could not afford to buy me surfboards or send me on surf trips or anything like that. So I saw competition as a way to attain those things, but I didn't like it. I don't like competing and trying to beat someone or outdo them. And I would say I'm aggressive in the water. I want to get the best wave and ride it the furthest and all that stuff, but I don't enjoy doing something dirty to someone or sneaky or a lot of stuff that goes on in contests. I never enjoyed that. So I've always been drawn more to the art form of surfing, doing it, you express yourself on a liquid canvas in a sense. I really think surfing is the greatest sport on the planet Earth. And I think it's showing that now. We're in the 2000s. Look how popular surfing is becoming. We realized it in the 60s, and it got in us, and we've carried it. And now people are realizing. It is a neat thing to learn how to surf and the freedom it offers you. You can go somewhere and ride a wave, and that sensation you get.
Exhilaration.
Yeah, it's just
Still is.
one with nature. Whatever you want to put it, but you just can't satisfy it. And when you do satisfy it, you're tired, and then once you get energy again, you want to satisfy it again. I've been around the world. I get on a plane, and my wife she can't believe it. You're going to fly 22 hours to South Africa to ride a wave. She'll go, surfing must be so unreal. She goes, there's nothing in my life I would do that for except my children, if something was wrong with them. She's just amazed, and I think it is amazing. Yeah, it's amazing that it gets inside of you, and no matter how good your surfer you are or how poor you are, it doesn't matter. We're all addicted. I'm beyond the surf business in the sense of the retail. I haven't had to work in my stores for quite a long time. And I have a brother who's vice president who owns part of Interlight Surf Shops, and he surfs, but he's not addicted to it. And he pretty much carries the burden of running the business. And before that, I didn't do a good job of balancing it, and I didn't really make any money because of that. I was so wanting to surf and be in the water and surf, and so my shop suffered because of that. And then I got into shaping surfboards, and that kind of fueled my shop with more money. And then I actually got into sales repping when I got into my 30s, and that's where I really fueled my shop with cash, because as the old saying, it takes money to make money. And that's when I made extra money, and so I was able to fuel it into my business. But my success of Interlight is mainly from my brother, a guy named JB. He's really been the retail genius, and I've just kind of been the figurehead and kept it grounded in surfing. He's carried it into more of the clothing and sports good type store, where I've kept us a hardcore surf shop because of my love of surfing. So I guess that's kind of balanced it out, Yeah, this afternoon, the blessing is, having sons that surf and love to surf, that's for sure. And I surfed today with Yancy out in the water, and I was watching him ride a wave. And yeah, I'm sure every man, loves to see that their boys, grow up and love surfing, because it's in you, and it's neat when you see it in one of your children too.